The coronavirus outbreak starting to take a toll on tech. Joining me now is Claire Reilly, senior editor with CNET. And Claire, thanks for joining us, first of all. There's so much uncertainty right now with the coronavirus and its effects. What are you seeing?
Well, I think the main concern for technology is no matter where the companies around the world are based, like the Apples, the Oculus, Tesla, they've all got factories in China. That's where the bulk of production around the world is happening. And companies like Apple have said that some of their components come from places like Wuhan, which is the hot zone of the viral outbreak. So that's starting to affect the products that actually come into stores, because if you can't get the components, you can't make the devices.
Absolutely. Okay, so here in the Silicon Valley, we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about Apple, as you mentioned. What kinds of effects might we see around here?
Well, Apple said that they have components for their products. There's speculation that this could affect as many as 45 million pairs of AirPods. Now, they've asked their suppliers to ramp up manufacturing, but of course, if they can't get the components because the factories are closed down, which they have been for a number of weeks now, that's rolling on and affecting other things. Nintendo has said that their Switch, their handheld gaming device, is actually manufactured out of China, so they're seeing impacts there. Facebook's Oculus VR headset is going to be impacted. There's a whole bunch of companies like Nissan, which is not even a Chinese company. They're based in Japan, but they're getting components for their cars, so that's affecting their production. So it's really having knock-on effects for a whole bunch of tech and auto manufacturers.
Yeah, and so when are we actually going to see the effects in stores? I mean, right now you could still buy a pair of iPods or AirPods. Are we talking about increased prices or just lack of inventory?
Well, at the moment, yes, you're right. You can still buy these products, and we won't see. It's bad for a company to suddenly hike up prices. That's not a good look for them. But we may see a sort of a slowdown. You may have to have some of your devices on back order. They've said it's sort of affecting production now. We may see that kind of roll on in the pipeline for products. So whilst you might still be able to go out and get a phone now, it could affect things down the track. I had a colleague who was trying to order a new phone, and she got an email yesterday saying, due to manufacturing problems in China, there's been a delay. Now, we don't know if that's associated with the coronavirus, but it certainly seems to indicate that there are problems coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely. All right, and you're saying that some companies could be affected even if they don't have any factories?
Absolutely, because whether they assemble in the US, which Apple does with some of its products, a lot of the parts are actually coming from these factories. And it's not just the virus hot zone in Wuhan, it's cities all around China that are being affected. We're seeing effects now in Hong Kong. So these are obviously huge manufacturing hubs, and it's really going to have a knock-on. It's hard to think, oh, my phone might be delayed when it's such a serious problem, but you do see these economic impacts, coming down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just again with the uncertainty, you don't know what kind of a timeline we're looking at here for things to potentially have the chance of going back to normal.
Absolutely. I mean, we should hopefully, I think everyone around the world is hoping that this whole virus starts to die down, but the World Health Organization is saying that this could just be the start.
All right, in the meantime, this is expected to impact the biggest mobile phone show of the year. What's going on there?
So it's a show called Mobile World Congress. Now, you might know Samsung and Apple do their own events, but pretty much every other mobile brand launches something or announces something at this show. We've already had brands like Amazon, LG pulling out, Nvidia, huge brands that are saying that they can't afford to risk sending their executives to the show. Some Chinese brands like Huawei, they've said that they're going to limit their presence at the show. Oppo, a Chinese manufacturer, is going to screen people as they come into the event, thermal screening. So it's really impacting a lot of what we're going to see this year in the tech space, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens at that show with it being so changed.
All right, and I know you're going to keep an eye on it for us. We appreciate it. Claire Reilly with CNET. Very much appreciate your expertise there. And, of course, stay with CBSN for continuing coverage of the coronavirus, its impact here in the Bay Area. You can always get the latest info on our website. Just go to kpix.com/coronavirus. We'll be right back.